and welcome back to this course. In this video we are still working with Python data types, and for this very video we are going to be working with the numerical data types. So what are the numerical data types? Now the numerical data types are the types of data that deal with numbers. So I will just write a list of those data types. We have the integer data type, we have the float, and then we have the complex numbers. So what are the integer data types? So the integer data type are whole numbers ranging from -infinity to 0 and then to positive infinity. Okay, so we have the 1, 2, 3, the tens, the thousands. So those are the integer values. So what are the floats? The float values are the values that has decimal points. So I'm going to be working with example. So I'm just going to write a variable called number, and I'll assign it to number 10, right? And I'm going to check the type of data that this variable number is. So I'm going to print type number. So I will save it. So if I print this now, it's going to tell you that it's of class integer. So if I write 10.1 or something like that and save it and run again, you see that this time around it is telling us that it's of class float. Okay, and if I write something like 10 plus 5j, right? So I meant to write 5j, and I save it. Here we have a complex number. So now a complex number is a number that is somehow a combination of letters and words, letters and numbers. Okay, but in Python this letter can only be the letter J, right? So I'm going to clear the terminal, and most of the time this complex number is used in engineering. So we are not going to go too deep into it, but for the scope of this course we are going to just know the operations that we can carry out with these three data types that we have seen on the screen. Now, so what can we do with all of this? Well, we can perform all the basic mathematical operations on integer, floats, and complex numbers. So when I say the basic mathematical operation, I mean addition, subtraction, division, and all of that. So when we did the Python basic operations, I remember that we were able to manipulate the different numerical data types by adding or subtracting them. So we talked about, so I'm going to list them again just for a recap, that the plus sign is used for addition, and the minus sign is used for subtraction, and we have the star character that is used for multiplication, the forward slash that is used for division, and the double forward slash that is used for floor division. And we also have the percentage sign that is used for modulus, to find the modulus. And I explained this modulus in that module, and I explained that the modulus of a number is the remainder of a number after a division. So when you divide 5 by 2, you are going to get 2 and 1 will be left. So remainder 1. So that 1 is the modulus. Now all of these operators can be used on the numerical data types. And for instance, we have this complex number. Now I will have to point out that the complex number is a number that has a combination of numbers and letter. So like this 5j is a complex number, right? Just this 5j is a complex number. So if I write type of this variable again and save and run, so you see that it's a complex number. So you can decide to add another complex number to this, so plus 5j. So what happens here is that it's going to perform a normal addition on the numbers that are involved, right? So it will perform the addition and then give you something like 10j. Okay, so also for multiplication, sorry, subtraction, you can minus 2j from that, and you save and run, and now you have 3j. Okay, so we also have the multiplication, and when you save it and run, you have something that is a bit unique, a bit unusual. So here it's multiplying the two numbers and it is giving it a negative sign, right? And then it's setting the j to 0. So the two numbers has been moved to one side and the j has now become 0. So if you do division, it will divide the two numbers and then set the j to 0. So let us clear our terminal and let's move on to the next step. So now, another thing that we can do with this complex number is that like 5 plus 3j, we can do something like 5 plus 3j plus 5 plus 3j. So this goes, and when you save it, what happens? It will sum up the real numbers and sum up the imaginary numbers. So the real numbers are this normal 5 and this other 5. They are called real numbers, and the numbers that has alphabets attached to them are called the imaginary numbers. So also the subtraction. So if you have 5j, okay, so because 5 is 0, so and so what Python do is that it will combine the imaginary numbers. So I'm going to clear my terminal. So the next one we are going to do is the division. So if we are to divide these two and run it, so what will happen is that it gives us a somewhat confusing output. So how does this work? So what happens here is that Python will group this two first, right? Because the main thing is that we are dividing this entire thing. So it will group the lowest numbers, and well, what will happen is that 5 is trying to divide 2 and it will give you something like 0.5, right? So now now that we have 0.5, it is now going to add whatever we have left. So 0.5, sorry, 0.4 plus 5j, sorry, plus 5 plus 3j, right? You are now going to have 5 plus 3j adding to 0.4j. So now we have 3.4j, right? Because 0.4j plus 3j is going to be 3.4j, and then this 5j coming in as a whole number. Now, another one we are going to look at is the multiplication. So let's remove the parentheses and run the multiplication. So now, what is Python doing here? So like it did in the former case of division, it will multiply these two, and what it will give us is 10j, right? So it is going to give us 10j because 5 multiplying 2j is 10j, right? So, and we are now going to add whatever we have left as a single complex number to the 10j. So 5 plus 3j plus 10j is going to be 5 plus 13j. So this is how the basic operations on complex numbers go. Now, if we are working, if you are to work with direct integers, we already know the value. And if you are working with floats, but I'm going to just run a quick one on integers. So these are integers. So if we add them, we know the value. And if we subtract, we know the value. And then just the normal mathematical operations. So if you are to multiply this, we have our output there, and if we are to divide, we have our output as well. So if we are working with floats, and let's say we have 5.7, sorry, 5.7, and we have 3.2, so, and we want to divide, we know the output, so it's just your normal operations. So these are the basic operations that we can perform on numerical value. So in our next video, we are going to be working with the built-in methods that we can use on these different numerical data types. So thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.